comedian Bear Love returns to the podcast to tell us more stories about the time he hitchhiked in Mexico.
You get $5,000 a month, but every winter you have to hibernate like a bear. Do you take the money?
Bear Love tells us about the time they called mom while on mushrooms.
Guess what song this guy is singing, and I'll give you $100.
And we're back.
Yo.
Episode 112 of Barcast Comedy. The return of comedian Bear Love.
Yo.
Thank you for being here. We are excited to have you back.
Thank you for having me.
So, have you been in any bar fights since last time? As usual, I always have to ask.
Bar fights since last time? No, thankfully, no.
That's good you're bartending now. That's why I had to double check.
Yeah. Actually, somebody threw a rock through the window at the bar 2 nights ago. I wasn't there, though. Thankfully.
You're like, thank God I didn't have to work that
and
night.
it was like a DJ who was disgruntled. Came back and tossed a rock.
Heck yeah. Shout out to that DJ.
Colfax.
Colfax. Get some donuts afterwards.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so a good bear question here for you. You get $5,000 a month, every month for the rest of your life, but you have to hibernate every winter like a bear. So like after Thanksgiving through Christmas to like the new year. Do you take that money?
That is pretty much what I do already. I am a pretty good hibernator. Yeah, when I used to hitchhike around the country. So basically, I left Michigan because weed was very not legal. And yeah, a lot of people don't know that I'm actually a veteran. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, actually of the drug war.
Of the drug war.
Yeah, I was actually a POW twice.
They caught me. Yeah. Goddamn.
So, but thank God that's over. We won. And I want to see some statues put up. The hippies won.
That's hilarious.
You know, there's a lot of war statues. We haven't won a war in a while. Let's take that win.
They might have won the battle, but you guys won the war. How tall do you think you'd have to beat a grizzly bear in a fight?
Well, I already decided that I could only fight a grizzly bear if I used a broadsword.
With a broadsword?
Yeah. Just because, you know, it has a good chance. You know what I mean? Like it's my one claw.
That's what you got?
Yep.
For me, I have to be basically like the size of Godzilla almost. Like where I can squash it like a bug.
Then that's food.
Like that thing would tear me up. Even if it was like the size of a geese compared to me.
That's a chicken nugget.
That'd be a scary geese.
Yeah, that's a chicken nugget.
You fly all the way to Australia to see the world's last kangaroo. But you get there and it turns out the kangaroos have been extinct. But they have a dog that does a backflip. But it costs $100 to see the dog do a backflip. Do you pay to see the dog?
Well, I snuck into the Mayan ruins in Guatemala. So I'm sneaking in to see this dog. Yeah. And we sneak in. So the locals were like, don't pay these people. It's like owned by the Guatemalan government. They don't give it to the Mayans. You know what I mean? So we're like, yeah, that's enough for me to want to sneak in.
Sounds
and
good.
So
I was
I
already
sneak in.
planning on it.
But we're going and sneaking in. We had to sneak past an alligator pit. And yeah, but it's like it's like kind of like a tourist thing. The alligators are in there or whatever, maybe crocodiles. I don't know what they were.
Yeah, like we're just going through the river.
And then we get down there, and then we're trying to go through this little washout. And I have a picture of this. I'll give it to you. But I was trying to walk through this little washout, and there's a sign that says crossing jaguars, like a deer.
Don't worry about the jaguars.
It was like 40 pesos to get in. I would have paid to not ever see a walking jaguar sign.
You're like hearing that now. That would be nice to know.
That's where the Mayan temple of the 2012 was in Tikal.
The end of the
Mexico.
world?
Yeah, that was crazy going down there. I went down there. A lot of people thought it was going to be the end of the world, but I knew it wasn't.
You didn't think it was going to be then?
No, and so I went down there to kind of like, I accidentally was there. I was hitchhiking past it, and I was like, oh, I should like kind of like meditate for this to be a holy space for when they get here. And it was like a lot of like tourists with kids on leashes. Some people not meditating.
Did the people there think it was going to be ending around there?
No, because it was still like 2009-ish maybe, and so it was still early. Yeah.
So they were still fine. They're like, we got 3 more years before to figure this out.
It was pretty crazy because right after we finished doing our little meditation, me and this girl from Norway, a Mayan dude was like in the middle of the temples, like lighting a fire with his whole family. And we came up and were like, we're supposed to meditate with him. And we sat like 50 people back and just like meditated. And this isn't a funny part, but it's just an awesome story. And we're meditating and like there's tourists like taking pictures of him and stuff. And he's like, no pictures. That's all he could say in English.
Yeah,
and
that's
like
all he knows.
He just sees me and this Norwegian girl like out of 150 people. And he comes up and he grabs me and her and takes us up and sits her next to his wife. And we started like meditating with them. And they gave us like these candles to throw in the fire. So it was cool. It was actually a really cool experience there. Yeah. And then I took her hitchhiking the rest of the way to her family in Mexico City from there. And she was like hitchhiking with like a $3,000 Canon camera and like all her like Columbia jacket. And I was like, can we look poor for like 3 days, like while we get you to Mexico City?
Let's not get jumped.
Yeah, so we went and bought her a poncho and we put the Columbia gear away. She still had her camera everywhere. So
I'm taking pictures regardless.
That was ridiculous.
Have you ever gotten robbed hitchhiking?
Oh, yeah, by the cops in Mexico 3 times.
3 times?
Yeah,
God dang.
so...
Which one was the worst? Give us all 3.
Well,
Or
basically...
let's go 1 to 3 reaction. That way we can get the time. You're like, God damn it, happening again?
Yeah, the worst time was probably the first time. And
yeah, it's got to be devastating the first time.
So we were in Mazatlan. We had just hitchhiked, me and my friend, from Tijuana all the way to Mazatlan. And we were there, and it was the first time it was like a party city. So we're like, we're partying. We had a little bit of money. We went and bought a bottle of rum. And everybody's drinking on the boardwalk. There's this sweet salsa club, which is like, it was sick. Like, you know what I mean? Like some crazy shit, you know? And then we're like walking down the beach, drinking our rum. Everybody's drinking on the boardwalk. But I guess there's signs that say no drinking on the boardwalk. Gringo. Everybody else is, but I'm the one getting a ticket. And so I tried running and hiding the alcohol because and they were like, it would have been fine if you didn't try and hide, And so it wasn't robbery, more of a ticket. And so now they've got us, and I think we're going to Mexican jail. So they take us like 3 blocks in, and they're searching us, and So I had a scratched ATM card, and I couldn't get no money out of the cajero anywhere, the ATM. So I'm like, found one cajero that takes my money, and I pulled out 1,500 pesos, which was like $200-300 at the time. So I pulled out all my money, and it probably wasn't even that much money at the time. And so I pulled out my money, and I've got 1,500 pesos on me because I don't know when the next time I'm going to be able to get money out. And so the cops take all 1,500 pesos.
Damn.
And this knife. That I told them it was my grandpa's knife. It wasn't.
That's a good play.
But I needed a
back.
knife, And I was like, mi abuelos, cochilla, given it, And they were like, we can't give you the knife back because they were just robbing me and then kicked us out 2 blocks away from the boardwalk. And then I realized, and they took my cigarettes, and Mexican cigarettes are like paper. They burn really fast anyways. And so, but they took my whole new pack of cigarettes, and I was like, if you can't give me my knife back, at least give me back my cigarettes. And they showed me the handcuffs. They go, you want these? And I said, yeah, give them to me. I said, fine. I had nothing to lose. I'm fucking Mazatlan, And I was like, give me the cuffs then. I knew they didn't want to take me. You know what I mean? And so he goes, fine. And he gives me 1 cigarette. And so I broke it and threw it back in his car.
Oh, damn.
And then I just ran down the beach. Yeah, we got let go. And it was so funny because my buddy who I was traveling with, he got so mad because I was white, so I got him robbed because he wouldn't have got robbed. Like, he's like,
all your fault.
No, he was like, dude, like, now you got to pay me back for some cigarettes. And I just got robbed 1,500. Now I owe him cigarettes. I'm like, fuck that. You know what I mean? So me and him are arguing over cigarettes. And now, this is like 2 hours later, and I went back to that same the cajero. I call him now, speaking Spanish. I went right back to the same ATM to get some money, and I pulled out another 1,500. And so now that kid, I started to walk away from him because he tried to take my pack of cigarettes. And then he's a little kid, and I start to walk away on the boardwalk. He grabs my hair,
oh God,
twisted and did this. I hit my knees. And now I'm like getting almost like, mercenary killed like in front of the boardwalk.
By a little kid.
By a little kid. And guess who comes up? The same cops.
The same cops?
The same cops. Because
You
now
get
we're
robbed
fighting
again?
on the boardwalk. We're fighting on the boardwalk. So yes, they put us in the car again, took us a couple streets over, found out I had another 1,500 pesos, really happy. Now me and my partner are just really not traveling buddies anymore. And we both have our backpacks like stashed next to each other. So we're both like pretty much the first person there just needs to get whoever's my shit. You know what I mean? I think he's going to take my shit. So me and him got out of the cop car at the same time and ran to our stuff. And then, oh my gosh. So then I finally pass out on the fucking beach in Mazatlan. And I'm sleeping there under a little cabana. And 2 red security guards are waking me up. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, lo siento. And they say, oh, no problema. they had just pickpocketed my condom pocket, 40 pesos left. The security guard.
God damn.
And so, but they were no problema, no problema. They had just had their hands in my pocket. And then I'm finally done with Mazatlan. I never had any problems like this in other than like the party towns and the border towns. Like through the rest of the state, totally respectful. But this is like where they know tourists are. It's
That's
like,
where they can get you.
And so I have like 100 pesos. That's all my money. And I get back into a cab. And I had just been hanging out with this Mexican federale. He was like a Mexican military, and he had his day off, and he was like taking us on a cab all over Mazatlan that day. And he was like 20 pesos to get here. We hiked a mountain, 20 pesos to get here. And like the local guy was just taking care of us. And then I go get back in the cab and try and go half the distance, and it's triple the amount, that this guy was taking us around all day. And so now I'm but I already told the cab driver to take me to the bus station because I thought it was going to be nothing. And now the rest of my pesos I owe this guy. And so I'm literally throwing it on the cab floor. I'm at the bus station in the Greyhound, and I think I called somebody and got $17 so that I could get a bus ride. I think I could only make it to Guadalajara. And in America, you can do this thing with Greyhound, where if you are trying to get from San Diego to Seattle, you just buy a bus ticket to San Francisco and don't get off the bus till Seattle. You make friends with the bus driver. Hey, yeah, I'm going to Seattle. They'll never check your ticket again. So that bus. So I thought I could pull that trick. I thought I could pull that trick in Mexico. So I get on the bus in Mexico, and I'm trying to skip past my stop. I was supposed to only get off at Guadalajara, and I'm like, I'm going to Mexico City. So I freaking get on there, and in America, you would just at least get off at the next stop. In Guadalajara, you get off on the highway.
Right here.
And you don't have a ticket? No boleto?
They just stop immediately.
On the highway. So now I'm hitchhiking, and I meet this Texas dude. He's a Mexican dude. He's Texan, and he's in a nice-ass truck, and he pulls up, and I'm at a gas station. Like, literally, now I'm nothing. I had nothing. And, I'm in a third world country, so people are like, are you okay? Do you want money? And I'm like, no, this is third world country. I'm not going to take money. And I was like, you're kind of hungry in a minute. You better accept something. And so somebody gave me like $1, and I bought some pan tostada, which is just fried toast and mustard and mayonnaise on it. My mayonnaise toast. And this Texan was there, and he goes, what the fuck are you doing down here? In English. And I was just so happy to hear English. And I was like, I've been robbed 3 times by the police, and I'm just trying to get to Guatemala. I was actually on my way to Belize because this girl said I could go live on her commune, and my job would be to pick coconuts. And she goes, you could go back to America and go to jail, or you could come to my house and your job would be to pick coconuts. So I was on my way to Kundalini Kim's farm in Belize, but I ended up making it to Guatemala. And so it was pretty crazy.
That's insane. That's crazier than anything any story I have.
So I ended up making it to Mexico City bus station. So I don't know how I ended up getting there, but it's the most populated bus. I must have hitchhiked the rest of the way from that side of the road, but I ended up getting there. I'm tired. I haven't slept. I'm still getting bullied around. This is the most exhausted I've ever been. And so I get to the Mexican City bus station, which is like an open-air bus station, like a California mall where the stores are in a mall, but it's open. And it's at night in the desert, so it's actually really cold. So I'm in the biggest bus station, most populated density city in the world, and I'm sitting there, and I go to this internet cafe because you could like buy internet for $10 and sit there. And I don't have any money for internet, but I was like, can I sleep in here on the floor? And the guy was like, sure, you can sleep there. And then, like, I fall asleep, and he wakes me up. He's like, hey, I actually have to sweep right here now. And I was like, okay. And then I literally, it was like a nightmare. Like somebody, and then as soon as I fall back asleep after he's sweeping, he's like, hey, now we're mopping.
He was like, God damn it, he thought you were going to leave.
And then I literally about to fall asleep, and he goes, hey, my manager said you could not be here. And so I just go outside, and I'm in the bus station, and I just see a hippie with a drum. You know, it's like those movies where the one person's in color and everybody else is just black and white. And I just see this hippie with a djembe drum, you know, like an African Ghana djembe drum in the Mexico City bus station. And it was actually a girl who I had just met a couple weeks before at the Rainbow Gathering in La Paz, Mexico. And I was going up to Seattle because I was going to go record some music. And she said that she was from Germany. And she goes, "Is Seattle the only place with microphones?" So she goes, "I'm going to Guatemala to live in this hostel where we take tourists hiking." And she goes, and so randomly, the girl who inspired me not to go to Seattle is in the bus station.
Is the one there now.
And so I call this journey Leap of Faith, because there is there's a lot of spirituality out there, and I'm not one of them. But when you're in that darked out time and you just see somebody who literally inspired your life like weeks later, there's some kind of synchronicity that will protect you if you leap for that jump. You know what I mean? And so she ended up hearing my story, being like, "Oh my God, let me buy your bus ticket to Guatemala." And we ended up getting to Guatemala. That's where I ended up meeting that Norwegian girl. Yeah, that was funny. She goes, "I would like it if you come into my room and not sleep in the hostel, but do you snore?" "No, Bear does not snore." No.
That's a deal breaker.
She let me know a couple days later. She goes, "You do snore."
You're like, damn.
But the reason I set that up is because my favorite time in my life was I was hanging out with people from all over the hostel. Like, I've got people from Ireland, Guatemala, El Salvador, and I'm hanging out and I'm chilling in a hot springs because we just took these people hiking. Like, that was our job in this hostel. We had to take people hiking all day for room and board. You know what I mean? It was just tourists, and then it paid for this orphanage called Casa de Argentinas, and so basically. So we are hiking Mount Zunil, which is a 200-foot waterfall hot spring. And this is the best moment of my entire life. I'm sitting there with my arm around this beautiful, inspiring person. I've got my friends from all over the world. I'm drinking beers, and I'm in a hot spring waterfall, and I look around, and there's this bird jumping around. And, I'm like, what kind of bird is this? It was a fucking monkey.
You're like, wow, that's crazy.
I saw a monkey in public. Dude, it was the coolest thing in the world. It might have been, it was the ring-tailed ones. It might have been a lemur. But
could have been a bird still.
It counts. No, it was definitely a monkey.
It was a monkey.
But it was a lemur. I don't know if that counts as a monkey.
No, lemurs are monkeys.
Ring-tailed lemur. Is it a monkey? Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Another crazy story I have. I find all these stories of just from you replying to people in the Instagram comments, and I screenshot them. I'm like, remind me to ask Bear that on the podcast. Your first mushroom trip, you snuck into a carnival.
Yes. So
Can you tell us that story?
Well, we were doing mushrooms, and we were like, it was our first mushrooms. Somebody gave us a bunch of mushrooms out of a trash bag, and so we're eating mushrooms. We didn't know how much to eat, and so we all ate probably like an eighth, you know what I mean? And we weren't trying to sneak into the carnival. We were trying to go to the carnival, but who closes a carnival at 11 o'clock at night? So we got there at 11, and we're like, "Oh, you guys suck," and we're 2/5 of Papa vodka and mushrooms deep. So we're going down the slide. So we see the super slide, and my big ass, I fucking go up there, and we all slide down. But as I fucking start to jump over the fence, I kicked one of the fence posts. And it made one of the fence posts fall and another fence post and the whole line. You know how you have that line? All of the fence. So it looked like we just kicked the fence down.
It's
and
like
so
out of a
now
movie.
the fucking cotton candy man sees us, drops cotton candy. He's running at us. We got this estranged, fried Oreo guy now is on his way. Like all of them. The guy with the darts and the balloon. He didn't drop the darts. He's running. And I swear to God, we get in my buddy Brett's Thunderbird, and we're squealing tires, and they're slapping windows. We've got carnies, and there's like saliva and a couple teeth. And so we get the fuck out of there, and we ended up going to the pinball place all night. And then
That's a lot more calm.
yeah, we were like, oh my God.
That's insane.
Yeah, we get there, and my one buddy, because everybody says like people doing drugs are irresponsible, right? So my one buddy's like, oh, I should call my mom. And I was like, you should. I took him to the payphone. I was like, let's go call your mom, dude. Like, I don't want to be irresponsible. Let's do it. So he calls his mom, and he tells her he's on mushrooms.
Where's your mom? I'm on
I'm
drugs.
like, great. And so he comes back all calm. He goes, my mom's coming to pick me up. And I was like, oh, you got to go? He goes, yeah, I told her I was on mushrooms. I was like, well, Ben, that's not a really good idea. He goes, but I'm going to hell with him. So I waited with Mom. I waited for Mom.
You waited for Mom?
Yep, I waited with Mom outside on the front stoop of the pinball place. And Ben Killer's mom, she's a saint. She did not pick me up as well. She left me to the pinball, and she took him. He said the walls were bleeding in his room when he got home, and it was a whole nother thing. But yeah, and so... yeah, then we come back, and our one buddy, we kind of had left him down there, so he thinks he's in this, like, elf world or something, and he's got some queen with him. She's another video game girl.
Yeah, that'd be a crazy place to trip in a pinball store.
So that was fun. We had a good night. And we found out that somebody's favorite song can bring them out of a bad trip.
It'll bring them back.
Yeah, so just...
that's like some Stranger Things.
If Steve's having a bad night, put on Weezer, and Steve will have a good night.
That's just Weezer. I love that.
That was his band.
I feel like it might be Weezer.
You got to find each person's hack.
Weezer might bring me out, honestly.
Weezer might send somebody into something bad.
It's 50-50. They're going the other way or they're back.
Beverly Hills. That's where I want to be.
Yeah, have you ever rescued anything before?
Rescued anything?
Yeah, any rescue stories?
A few humans think that I saved their life kayaking.
Kayaking?
Really, though, I just stopped them from a loop they were caught in. You know what I mean? Like, one person was grabbing a log. You know what I mean? Trying to stop 10,000 pounds of water. They just needed to let go and flip under and pull out. Yeah, but they were holding a log, and so I just came up and ripped their hand off the log. I literally was like, and then they were like, oh, thank God. And it was so sad because it was his first time, and he bought the boat and everything. And we're going, it was kind of low water, and we look, and a bald eagle crests the river. And it's just like Colorado moment, like, my country, and then literally it was like most serene. I was like, see, buddy, look at this, cool. And then he's like, blah, blah, blah. And and another buddy, that same happened on the same river a couple of weeks later, and he was a musician, really good musician, and my girlfriend actually saved him because she was really good at kayaking, and we had been in the water a lot, so I just pulled over, I helped her, she was spotting us in the car, and I was like, you got him? Like, he's fine right there, and so he's just like stuck on a rock, just didn't want to walk across the crazy shit, so he's just on a rock, like 2 feet in water, and she ends up getting him out, and blah, blah. And he had a pretty good spill. I don't know if he hit a rock or anything, but he had a pretty good spill. He gets back to the house, and he goes, and then we were like, how was it? And he goes, good. He goes, I'm not mad at the world anymore. And we're like, huh? He goes, yeah. He goes, I know what I love. He goes, I love music. I love people. I love not kayaking.
Everything other than kayak.
Zest for life after his rescue.
Good for him. Learning his.
Hitchhiking. I've been there when 3 car crashes happened.
3 car crashes hitchhiking?
Yeah, like one time in, this one's horrible. They say don't go out without the right underwear on. This girl crashed her car, and I'm helping her out the fucking sunroof of her car, and only me and her know what happened that day. Yeah, I got a full show. What the fuck?
What state are you in, or country?
Yeah, I felt horrible, but that's like real shit. So, and nobody else would go in the car, so we're fucking carrying her out. Yeah.
So you're in the car pushing her.
You might want to wear some chonies, ladies. Horrible. But yeah, and one time in Berkeley, I pulled a motorcycle off of a guy who crashed. Yeah. Like, it was on his foot. He had hit the back of a car. It was a nice little, they were only going like 30 miles an hour. And so I'm just, maybe my hitchhiking is causing these accidents.
They're swerving around you and everybody's crashing.
I'm wearing bright clothing.
There's a movie about a guy who.
So I don't know if I rescued people or helped them. But the best time hitchhiking was when we picked up the stop slow sign from the construction site. Because I was tired of it. We were going through Texas, and so nobody was picking us up. And so it was like a long 55-mile-an-hour road. So we literally would just slow the cars, and I would stand there I'd commit to the bit,
Just holding it. Stop.
And then I go, hey, you guys are going east, right? Hey, I don't murder. That was my favorite line.
Did it work?
Because it neutralizes it right away. I don't murder, and I'm going east. It looks
Did it
like
work,
you are too. Yeah, people got us in rides right away. And the cops definitely, it was about 2 counties later, they caught us. And they were looking for the sign.
The guy with the sign.
No, they were like, what? This is ridiculous. But I think they saw how me and my cousin smelled, and they just didn't want to do the paperwork. But we got let out, stopping traffic on a highway, and then talking to people. It was very efficient.
It might work with me. I might let you in my car.
Dude, it worked, man. It was so fun. Yeah, and it was funny because we finally did get out of there, and we got picked up by this guy who was a viper, and like, what's that? I guess the beatniks who were weed smokers called themselves vipers. And so he was a jazz musician. We had finally made it to like New Orleans, like off the 10 or something, and we were going to Pensacola, so he was going to give us a ride the rest of the way. So we got to hear all these cool stories from this beatnik. But the vipers are the ones who smoked weed. And I'd heard this because Acoustic Hookah has a song, When You're the Viper, and it's about weed. And so basically he ends up being like, yeah, you guys are into music. You guys look like you're into pot. He goes, reach in the glove box. And there was a trumpet mouthpiece, and it was Miles Davis's trumpet mouthpiece. And he said, pack some weed in the end.
And smoking out of it?
You know how there's the big part? I thought we were going to pack a bowl. No, flip it around the other way, and it's like a one-hitter down the tube. And so I smoked out of the Miles Davis's trumpet piece, and jazz has never felt so alive that night.
You're like, I'm back. That's amazing.
Yeah, so not only did we not get arrested, we got picked up with a cool ride like 5 minutes later. And that's how you know if you're in the right. Like, if you're in the wrong and you're hitchhiking, you ain't getting a ride. That's just the universe teaching you with your soles of your shoes.
They're humbling you real quick.
That's the universe teaching you with your Lambro feeties. Your Chevrolets.
They'll learn real quick.
Your Chevrolets. When you get picked up right away, yeah, you did it right.
Yeah. Yeah, I also wrote in my notes, too, you went kayaking with alligators.
Yep.
That was all I have for clarification.
So not very long. So I tried to go down to, I was tired of the cold rivers in Colorado because that's when the big water is right when the cold water is. And so down in Florida, we went down there and we took our kayaks, and I really just went everywhere. It took about North Carolina until there was no alligators in the water. And I had to ask. The locals were like, what the fuck's your problem? Yeah, I was like, are you sure? No, never. So we went one time, and it started raining, and all the alligators come up to the top of the water when it rains. I don't know why. Somebody from Florida will know why.
That's what they do.
That was
Somebody in the
enough for me
comments.
to never enter the water. So then I thought I was smart. So I went down to, where were we, Mobile, Alabama. So I thought I was smart. I was like, okay, I'm still getting in water. So I was like, I'm going to go do some ocean kayaking. I was kind of surfing the little thing. And my buddy's like, yeah, that's where my buddy takes tourists to go hunt bull sharks.
Oh, God.
He's like, you look just like a sea lion right there.
Yeah, you're looking like a nice snack for them.
So I literally carried these kayaks down there I got it in the water, I carried them down for like 2 months, and I got them in the water twice. So not the kayaking trip I thought I was on. But yeah, stay in the north if you're kayaking.
Let's do a visual question here. French artist locks himself in a boulder for 1 week. Let me show you the video. Could you do this?
Oh,
Could you survive?
No. Hell no. I am so claustrophobic.
Yeah, look at that shit. Like, he's just in one position.
Yeah.
You're like, forget that.
That's insanity. Timothy Leary, I feel like, could do this because Timothy Leary used to do these psychedelic trips where he would lock himself into a wing of his house with 100% darkness.
Oh, God.
And he's not confined like that, but I think the scariest part of that is your mind because you have to let go of the body.
But the craziest part of the video, at the end, the announcer's like, yeah, his next plan is to sit on a bunch of eggs until they hatch. So I looked it up. He sat on a thing of eggs for 23 days. Or 21 days. 23 hours a day for 21 days, and the eggs hatched. Like a mama bird to keep them at the temperature. Shout out to him.
Yeah, I actually heard about that.
You did?
I found out that the one egg that hatched, he cheated. He actually was incubating it.
Really? I got that. It took me a second. Now I see. You got to answer quick. So the video is going to show you what happens, and then it'll restart. Guess what song? Wait, let me mute my phone. Guess what song this guy is playing when this happens? Guess what song he's playing?
I've seen the clip, but I can't remember what song he's playing. But it's something like, I'm going to say it's a Nirvana song.
Nirvana? Kind of close. It was Sweet Caroline.
Bum, bum, bum. I mean, if you don't like that song, I understand.
That's a high-risk, high-reward song right there he's playing. Would you rather take a dump in a porta potty while it's 91 degrees outside or 10 degrees outside?
Well, I have a porta potty story.
Oh, God.
And since my
Tell
poor little gypsy baby pit bull is gone, I can tell the story of her ingesting psychedelics.
Oh, God.
I ate myself 10 hits of psychedelics paper. And I went into a porta potty at a music festival and got completely grossed out. So I went and puked outside. And my dog would never get into any substance, but human puke. My dog ate. There was a big old chunk of paper in that puke. Now me and my dog are having a festival. And we're at a festival where no dogs are allowed. Black Mountain Music Festival in Colorado.
Oh, it's just tripping balls.
So I've got the one dog tripping balls, and she ended up finding a laser that would shoot like 150 feet out, and I'm frying. So luckily I have 40 of my friends there that know her. So everybody's helping out. So there's this laser that shoots like 150 feet away from the dance floor, and then it shoots back to the stage. And it was like a psychedelic leash for this dog. Because she'd chase it all the way out into the field, and then she'd chase it back to the stage. And so I was like, okay, the dog's busy. You know what I mean? And all the hippies were running with her. Yeah, the hippies were running with her. And even to the point where there was the main band, Duck Pond, was playing, and she got up on stage with the band. On stage. No dogs are allowed. And this proud, because she's on it, so she's like looking like, I learned Tai Chi from this pit bull, because she was like so proud, you know? And so she's up there just looking at all of us like, I approve. You guys are all on this too? I approve. And right when it was about to be a problem, everybody's like, hey, the owner of the property goes, that's Gypsy and she's cool. And I was like, yes, the owner knows her. And then right when it was going to be a problem, she got off the stage. She knew when to bail. So
shout out Gypsy.
So it was a beautiful day. And she was pregnant with 9 puppies, and that's Odin's mom.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yep, so she was a crazy lady.
I have a good dog puke story, too. We're drinking in my basement, and I got a little too drunk, and I threw up that one night, and I threw up into one of the blankets to catch myself rather than on the ground. And I went to the bathroom to finish throwing up, and then went to bed, and my one friend was really drunk. And then he went to sleep in the blanket that I threw up in. And then we woke up in the morning to the sound.
The dog cleaning him up.
The dog is licking the throw up. And we're like, what is going on? And we're like, oh, God, no.
The dog had your back. He was cleaning the evidence.
He was trying to hide it. We're like, you're in the one blanket.
See, I have another eating, a kind of a disturbing eating story. My psychedelic name could be Bart Simpson.
Bart Simpson.
Because people have actually ate my shorts before.
Tell us a story.
So we're in Fort Collins one day, and me and my 7 friends decided we were all going to get our own little bottle of but we had 7 of them in a big old bottle, and somehow that spilled onto my lap. So I'm covered in 700 hits of, psychedelic magic. And all my friends were like, we are definitely still eating your pants. So and they're my favorite festival pants. Like, I just wore them for 3 days.
So they're cutting up your pants?
They are cutting up my pants and eating them. Pacha, who made my pants, they ate your pants. So people have eaten my shorts. So I'm a real 90s Bart Simpson kid.
That's crazy. Did it work?
Yeah, there's 700 hits on there. They ate those pants.
I think I would maybe try to lick it off.
Yeah,
I think that's where I would
there was
draw
a lot
the
of
line.
that. People definitely, but it was
sucking on it,
It was almost like perfect blotter because it was like there was like kind of matte, the cotton, and so it worked.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't even know what to follow that up with.
Eat my shorts.
Eat my shorts.
Oh, man. Yeah, and a lot of people, like a lot of comics like to roast me after I go up because I look like this. And they go, that looks like the guy who sold me mushrooms at Red Rocks. I'm like, that's kind of rude. Like, I did sell you mushrooms at Red Rocks.
Give me a shout out at least.
Like, I am that guy. Like, you don't
Can you give me credit, please?
Like, yeah, like, bro. Like, it was you and your girlfriend.
Support your local business, yeah.
Like, I don't remember you guys.
That's crazy, yeah. Do you have any embarrassing stories that your family tells about you?
Let me think. I've been on the road a lot, so I don't know what they talk about anymore.
You're like, I don't know what the new ones
I'm sure
are.
they've got, what were the old ones, though? So a funny story was, my mom used to say I had selective hearing. And Bear, being a nickname very young, 8 years old, we're in Gun Lake, Michigan. And I'm riding my bike away to go down to the lake and, whatever. And my mom's screaming at me because she just made breakfast. She got bacon and eggs. And she's screaming, "Bear!" in the woods. "Bear! Bear!" And there's this literally an old man who's 75, and he's got a walker. He's just walking down the morning trail, and he picks up his walker. He's probably a World War II vet. He's like, it's time. He picked up his walker and he started. And my mom, she had to run over there. No, I'm talking about my bear cub.
I'm talking about my...
And so that was a true story. And so we call my mom the mom who cried bear. Which is messed up because she dumped out the bacon grease later that night, and the bears did come back.
The bears came
Yeah,
back.
and they killed that old man. He had a heart attack.
They got him. Damn. Rest in peace, old man.
Rip.
Yeah, do you got any other good dumb stoner moments? Last time you had pretty crazy ones.
Well, I mean, I moved here because, the legalization of pot, and I don't want to be a POW again, but Denver legalized pot, but then I think they're messing with us because they installed all these traffic circles like the same year. So they've got stoners just doing laps, lost as fuck. Sometimes I get in one just to process a relationship.
Feel that, man. That's good.
So other than that, I tried to come down here 3 or 4 times, and I ended up right back in Boulder.
You're like, what the hell, man? Let me try it again.
Okay. I'm glad I made it here today.
Yeah, would you rather, in another life, be a pirate, a cowboy, or a samurai?
Oh, samurai, probably.
Samurai?
Yeah. I just like the honor and the respect of it. Like pirate, fun, but just the respect before where you're like, pirate, you're just going to be like run somebody through and take their shit. Samurai, you're going to be like, and then wipe out their bloodline.
Yeah. I think samurai's best life, I'm probably picking cowboy maybe. I think cowboy's the most safe option. Pirate's the most fun. But you're also
I like rum.
But you're also eating whatever food, terrible food.
I always
at
heard
sea.
that pirates drank rum because you're supposed to drink rum at sea level and you're supposed to drink whiskey at elevation. Yeah. Oh, and we talked about Mexico and we didn't even talk about monic.
Yeah, let's talk about monic.
So monic was a Polish altar boy who was on a sabbatical when we were traveling. And so I met him on my way back. So the guy who I ended up arguing with the cigarettes, he ended up did me a big solid when we were friends. He told me there was a peyote field, and I wasn't far from it. So after Guatemala, after I dropped that girl off, after we hitchhiked, I went to the peyote field, which is in, I'm giving directions, San Luis Potosí. Did we talk about this? We already kind of did, but
partially.
Yeah,
we dabbled into it.
Yeah, so San Luis Potosí, Mexico is the state. San Luis Potosí is the capital. Then you take a bus to Matehuala, Guatemala with an M. Then you take a little bus through a tunnel to Real de Catorce. And then you take a jeep or a horse to a station Catorce. And that's where El Jefe de la Desierto is, who had the picture with Matthew McConaughey. And we did talk about that.
I can't wait for somebody to stitch this video with them in a peyote field, like National Treasure, we followed the map.
Yes.
Look where we are.
So it's called Loma Blanca is the desert. It's called Loma Blanca. You can GPS it. Yeah. But El Jefe de la Desierto is the shaman that we met. And but my shaman was Monic, and he was a 21-year-old Polish altar boy from Catholic Church in Poland. And he was doing a sabbatical where he'd saved up a bunch of money from working, and he was going from Canada all the way to Argentina. So we're down there in Mexico where his first language is Polish, second language is probably English, third language is Spanish, right? So in Spanish, he's talking to some Mexicans about his spiritual journey. And they said, "Oh, espiritu? We're about to go eat some spiritual food, peyote." And he goes, "Gee golly, the Great Spirit has created the spiritual food?" I don't know about. He didn't know it was a drug. They just mistranslation. Spiritual food. Peyote. And so he goes, gee golly, I'll have to meet you. And so they just gave him directions to Loma Blanca. He gets there, and it's the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? So they're not there. You know what I mean?
Nothing there.
And so he was supposed to meet them, and he's like, I couldn't find my friends. They were probably somewhere close. It's 50 square miles. But so he's like, I couldn't meet my friends. So this goat herder walked by with goats. And he goes, hey, you're out here for the peyote? For 100 pesos, I'll show you how to prepare it. And the guy was like, okay, sweet. So his shaman was a goat herder. True way. And so what you got to pull out the hairs in the middle, because I guess they've got some kind of toxin in them that's just a little, they look like dandelion hairs. And then you pull all those out, and you could eat the whole thing. Some people don't like to break the spirit. Some people break the whole peyote up. But either way, you take the hairs out and eat the rest. And so that's what the goat herder taught him. That's what he taught me. So I end up, long story short or short story?
No, we want the long story.
So I end up going to Station 14, and I take the Jeep there, and like Mexico's awesome because you could ride on top of the Jeep. I'm fucking on top of the Jeep while they're hitting jumps and shit. There's other tourists in. I paid the least out of the ride, so they're in there.
You get the
I'm on top. Yeah, I'm up top on the top of the Jeep and on the roof rack. And so basically like, riding it, like, you know. And so
that's amazing.
I'm mocking up to the fucking peyote field, like, and then get there. We get out. And they were all just going like around to do shit. They weren't coming to find the peyote. So I get out and I'm like, okay, where's the peyote? And I just see the most beautiful town of my life. Like, this is like Pleasantville. You know what I mean? Like, beautiful family, each generation, baby, grandkid, great. Like, just, you can see the lineages in this park wandering around. There's like a square city with all the houses around it. It's heaven. So these people don't care about any peyote or psych. They're already there. You know what I mean? Like, so that's just not the vibe of the local, you know? And so I come up and, you know, I didn't know, you know, like, so I ended up going to this one store and it said hippie store in English.
In English, perfect.
And so I walk in and I'm like,
I'm home.
I made it.
Dad's
and
home.
All the kids are like, yo, you know, like long hair, cool, listen to similar music as us, like some Goa Gill. Trance music. And basically, so I asked them, I said, so where do you find the peyote? And they said, oh, any restaurant in town. Yeah. And I'm like, oh,
everywhere.
And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah. And it's in the soup. It's in the soup. And I said, oh, okay. So I go into a restaurant, and I sit down, and this like abuela comes up, and she brings me, I asked for peyote soup. She brings me the soup. And before she goes and gets it, I go, I had a feeling it was too easy. So I just said, con mescalina?
What's that mean?
With mescaline? And she goes, like I said, a swear word. Oh no! You know, like she's a grandma. Like I just asked somebody's grandma, con mescalina? And she goes, no. And then I got up real fast because I'm in another, you know, I didn't want to be in that little town.
No
It'd be really easy to find me in this town, you know, so I get up, I'm out of there. And so that was at the town before the Jeep. So that's why I got out of there really fast. So I'm in the next town. And so I'm down there. And so now I look and there's all these beautiful people and there's a soccer field in the middle of the town, and these kids who are maybe like 18 or 19 come up and they're to bum a cigarette from me, and I'm like, this is my in. And I said, I have a cigarette for the cambio of where's the peyote? And they, like I said, a swear word, we're not telling you nothing, but I had a cigarette. So then they're like, so 4 cigarettes was the cost of knowledge.
4 cigarettes for peyote.
And they said, you got to find the house with the red door. This is like Zelda Quest.
God damn, this feels like a video game.
So there's 350 houses. So finding one house with red doors, not super easy. But I went military with it. Row by row by row by row by row. And there's one house in that town with a red door. And I did not find it until the 167th door. And I found it. And there's music going on inside. You can tell there's music going on. I'm like, I'm here. And I get up there and it's like a stucco house. And there's a perfectly painted little peyote button. And I'm like, we're here.
Oh, there's nothing feels better paying off.
But hippies are the same everywhere you go. When you hear this sound, it's the cops, policia. So when Wedo knocks on the door, they did not answer. They did not answer the door. I should have gone.
You should have just went in.
I should no. Oh, that would have got me shot. I don't know if I would have done that. But no, so I knocked, and you heard talking. I think the music turned down, and then just nobody came to the door. So I just wasn't going to be harshing their trip, So I ended up leaving, struck out.
Come back later.
That's when I found Monic. So I struck out, and my poor Polish boy, he had just come out of the goat herder's field, and he's been out there for 3 days. And so he goes, he's buying a tostada from a little stand, and there's locals. I can see them, the auras I don't always believe in everything hippies talk about, but auras, right? I see the normal people. I see Monic's aura. He is shimmering like a Christmas tree. You can see something. The peyote's still in him. So I'm just like, and so I go sit down. He's like third in line. I'm like eighth. So I go sit down, and I go get my tostada, and I did not have tostada money. And I got my tostada. I came and sat next to him, and we're eating tostadas, and I go, "You're going to tell me where the peyote is?" And he goes, "Yes, I am." He goes, "But I'm not better than our Lord, who was in the body of the earth for 3 days." He goes, "I was in the desert for 3 days." He goes, "I cannot go back out there for a 4th day. Me and you are going to drink this tequila in my room, and I'll take you in the morning."
You're like, deal. You're like,
It was so intense.
That's great. That feels like
and I was just like, you went through something, and we're going through it tomorrow.
All right, you're down. You're like, that sounds good to me.
Polish joke, too. Like a blonde joke almost. And so, I followed a Polish.
Wait, I think your mic unplugged. I was like, there you go.
But there used to be Polish jokes about blonde jokes being dumb, and so did I follow a Polish man in the desert? Did I die? So it wasn't the odds of me finding this peyote
What
were
are the odds?
stacked against me. Sorry, Monic. We ended up drinking the tequila, and this was my first time I've been in a hotel. I've been doing tents for a while, so this was fun. We're drinking tequila. We're having fun. And Mexican tequila is just so sweet and it goes down so smooth.
Have you ever ate the worm before?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Not down there though. That's up here. And so down there they make pulpo, which they take the agave and they crush it up like the local. Like you would just make it yourself. Go cut one down and pump it out, and they make punche out of this pulpo. But it's like cheap tequila, but you can make your own tequila down there. And so we drank. And so we wander out into the desert, and he says it's, I think 17 kilometers or 11 kilometers. I can't remember. It was something up there. You know what I mean? And so I'm literally we're at the top, and I've been in hiking shape. You know what I mean? But we're at the top of and the desert trails he's taking are little fucking goat trails. So they're but it's also left or right. It could have been this one. It could have been that one. Yeah, it's this one. I'm sure.
We're just trusting him.
I'm sure. So I just had to give up on peyote. That's how I literally was like, I might die. You know what I mean? And I was done looking for peyote. I was literally now I'm just here for this walk with my friend. And so I switched my mind to just enjoying it instead of what I was doing. And so we ended up getting there. And because if he had a little more certainty, I would have believed in him more.
He had no confidence in
he
himself.
was not certain.
Why would I believe in
he
you?
was not certain. And so he's telling me that he used to have a big old fucking bag of it. But somebody told him, the only thing he heard is, "Oh, you're going to do peyote?" Yeah, somebody hung themselves out there. That's the only initiation.
That's nice to know.
So he said that the devil was tempting him to hang himself. He saw the devil, and he was like, "Hang yourself" the whole time. And so he's like, "I had to take the whole bag of peyote." He had 22 buttons in a Kroger sack, and he said, "I had to take that peyote and I threw it into the desert." Away from your fire, and
where'd you throw it?
And he just threw it in the desert. And I wasn't there. This is he's by himself, and so he's at the fire, and he said that he was sitting there, and then he heard in the wind the bag taunting him. And so you're not supposed to walk away from your fire in the desert because the fire is brittle and it burns up really fast. You're not going to be able to see it very fast. And then you're going to be away from your water and you can die. So you're not supposed to leave your fire at night. But that's what people do tell you that down there. And so he's like, I had to go get that bag. And he's like, and then I burned all that peyote. And I was like, no. Good
That was
story.
devastating. Good ending. But
And then, so he's telling me these stories as we're walking
just
out there.
crying in the
But
middle
all
of
the
the desert
peyote he's
now.
destroyed. You know? And so I finally, I'm looking for pin cushions, you know, like little pin cushions, like, you know, above ground. And so I end up sitting there, and I put my pack down, and I sit on my pack, and I literally was like, I am okay with not finding peyote. Monic walks up, and he goes, hey, there's some next to my foot. It was something about surrender. You know what I mean? So it was like,
what are the odds?
But they grow flush to the ground. They don't grow up. They're just little eyeballs so that it can see.
Yeah.
It's like, I want a light. I'm just an eyeball. And so if you have peyote growing at home, bury the sides. Everybody's got theirs to
Bury it.
Yeah, no,
Life
bury
hack.
it. Yeah. So I ended up going out there with Monic, and I ended up just being a guide for his peyote trip that night. You know, so it ended up was a closing of a door for me, because it was supposed to be the Cadillac of a psychedelic, and it really was just me doing the same thing I did with mushrooms and acid back home. So it wasn't. It kind of was like a Cadillac closing, and because it was so hard to get and back, I did end up sending a bunch back. I took all these little donuts out of this package and put them all in there with donuts, so it looked like donuts, and then I mailed a bunch of them back. And I told my friend I need $17, and I'm going to send you something that rhymes with coyote. And I went through 3 friends. One of the friends was like, what are you doing? No. And then one of them was like, I am sending you $17. I had already packaged it and went to
He
the mail.
knows. I love it. It's like I miss the days like at college parties, like we're maybe across the bar, or like at some party. We had friends like he would just do like the like light in a bowl thing, and I'd be like, yep. I know where I'm going now. We all like up all the smoke signals.
I went down there when you were supposed to use a passport, and I didn't have a passport. I just snuck in, you know. And I even had to sneak back into Mexico.
So you have to sneak back.
I had to sneak into Mexico from Guatemala. I had to pay somebody to take me past
You got smuggled?
the ports. Yeah, I smuggled my weto ass into Mexico, and we paid this little. I have pictures of the boat that I snuck in, and it was just a little building, so I just had to pay the taxi to drive me past the building. It was the customs building.
Still, I didn't know you had to sneak.
Oh, the Mexico
stop you.
Mexico border's fucking harsh. They don't let Guatemalans up. Yeah.
And that's where we draw the line.
Yeah, they're like, nope, no. So it was crazy. But I'm sure there's ways. So, but yeah, the way I got in. So, but I got in, and basically I get to the border, and I didn't have my passport. So my whole thing was to blame those cops that robbed me. So I was like, I got robbed. And they literally looked at me and they were like, you just hitchhiked to Guatemala? You know, and like at most of the border patrol, they're Mexican because it's like way at the border. So it's these Mexican guys at the border, they go, we would never even do that. You're nuts. And they literally pointed to the border and they go, get in here. No ID, backpack, hippie, like just was in the peyote. I should have brought the peyote up myself instead of mail it. They literally just went, get in here.
No, get back in here quick.
Like, okay.
They're like, we're so sorry.
And that was the dumbest thing I ever did, was cross the border that moment, because I only had 100 pesos left. 100 pesos was $20 at the time. So if I cross the border, I've got $20. That's nothing. If I would have stayed in Nuevo Laredo, I would have had a hotel. I would have had food. But I was so excited to be home. I was just like, because actually I just wanted an iPod. Because I really, reggaeton is one beat. It's the dumb brow beat. And doom, 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 doom. And the whole country, I thought it was like the popular song, you know? Like, but it has to be that beat to be reggaeton. And as a musician, I like to mix it up a little bit. And so I enjoyed the Super Bowl, but it's always okay to hate reggaeton. It is always okay to not like reggaeton.
There you go, life hack.
I literally came back from Mexico to get an iPod.
I just need it.
Because I was so tired of only reggaeton. So, but
yeah. All right, let's go to the last segment of the podcast because this thing's beeping at me. I don't want it to cut out on the episode. This has been amazing. The amount of content we got is crazy. We're going into the Capri Sun Challenge. This is where we break the record for fastest time to drink a Capri Sun.
I'm just going to eat the bag.
Last time, you did it in, let me look real quick. You did it in 15 seconds, which puts you at 14th place on the leaderboard. You beat me. That was impressive. So This will be a good rematch.
Yeah, I saw Mike Eaton's. I'm coming for you, Mike.
He was cooking.
I saw it. Who broke the record? Who was the one that did the best?
Chris Wellman.
All right, so
Capri
what can I
Sun
do?
champion.
I can take the straw
You
off?
can take the straw off.
Can I take it out of the bag?
Yeah.
You can.
You can pull it off, but you can't fucking... No, you got to leave it in the bag.
It's in the bag, okay.
But you can't, yeah. And then I'll go 5, 4,
And do I
3,
have to
2,
have the
1,
mic,
go.
or can I put the mic
No,
down?
put the mic. That's what the mic stands are here for. The only reason I bought it was for drinking Capri Suns.
Okay.
So I'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. You ready?
Yep.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
I saw somebody else's strategy with a squish bag.
Fuck, that was fast. I did it in 18
And
seconds.
check the record. Make sure. Verify. Pull out.
That was me squeezing. That
Okay.
was good. That was good.
Okay, sorry.
That is solidly empty. I did it in 18 seconds. You did it in like 12 to 13 seconds.
I hope so.
That was
I
fucking
saw
the
somebody
first-
did the squeeze, and I wasn't sure last time, but I saw he kind of...
That's what Chris Wellman does.
I saw he
It's a squeeze
kind of
technique. Yeah,
covered the top, too, so it didn't squeeze out. That's what I was worried about the first time. I thought it would squeeze out the top.
You
so I
either
didn't
do
go-
that, or I talked to the guy who owns a world record for the Capri Sun thing, and what he does is
Who held
it.
the record, because we're still waiting.
You're right. But he deep throats it the whole too, so he drinks it through the hole and the straw.
Oh!
He just sucks
Next.
everything.
Oh, that's next time.
That's the next level.
That's
You
next
just
time.
Put the whole thing in your mouth. But yeah, that's all for this episode of the podcast. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. We're giving away a toaster on YouTube, baby. Tell them where to find you, Bear. It'll be on screen and linked below.
The only place you can find me is on Barcast Comedy, because that's the only podcast I'm ever fucking doing.
That's what you're seeing. He's Bear Love Comedy. He's everywhere. You know him. Hell yeah. Subscribe. Doo-doo-doo.